Okay, let's be real. The Matrix sequels, they're some of the most argued over sci-fi movies ever made, right? You've got people who absolutely hate them, people who will defend them to their last breath, and then a whole bunch of us who just kind of pretend they didn't happen. But what if the movies aren't broken? What if we've just been looking at them all wrong?
The architect himself kind of called us out on this. He said denial is the most predictable of all human responses. And it really makes you wonder, what if all the answers were right there on screen the whole time, and we just, well, chose not to see them?
So, yeah, why are these movies so confusing and misunderstood? That's what we're going to dig into right now. We are going to peel back all those complicated layers to show you a hidden logic that, honestly, makes the entire trilogy click into place. So let's get into it. All right, part one, the sequel's grand puzzle. To really get what's happening in these movies, you first have to accept that they're playing a totally different game than the first one.
Think about it. The first movie, that's your classic hero's journey. It's awesome, it's relatable, we all get it. But the sequels, they completely change gears. It's not about one guy's incredible destiny anymore. Nope. It's a super deep, really complex breakdown of the entire system he's trapped in. It's a huge shift from a story about a person to a story about the code itself.
Part two, a system of control. This is where we start to uncover the truth about the One. And it all begins with this massive revelation. That prophecy we all bought into, it's not what we think it is. At all. I mean, this is the story we were all sold, wasn't it? Neo, the messianic figure, the chosen one who was going to end the war and set everybody free. It's the story Morpheus lived and died for. And honestly, it's the story we all wanted to believe. But here's where they just pull the rug out from under us. The prophecy was a lie. A beautiful, inspiring lie. The whole story of a savior was just a cover for its real job. It was a program, a control mechanism. The path of the One was basically a pre-written script designed to round up all the rebels and lead them right back to a system reboot. So you're probably asking, how do the machines make sure the One follows that script? Well, they use something called the Prime program. All of Neo's powers, stopping bullets, flying, all that cool stuff. It's not a miracle. It's not just plot armor to keep the hero alive. It's a literal plot device, a feature built into the system to make him the perfect, totally believable symbol for all of humanity to follow. He's a walking cheat code. The architect's entire cycle of control is built on two simple, brutal events. Step one, wipe out Zion. Get rid of the external threat. Step two, get the One to return to the source, which reboots the whole matrix and wipes out the internal threat. It's cold, it's calculated, and, well, up until Neo, it was a totally foolproof plan. Part 3. The Oracle's Dangerous Game. See, the architect wasn't the only one pulling the strings, not by a long shot. It's time to talk about the true mastermind of the entire trilogy. Man, this one line from the architect just blows the whole thing wide open. He sees himself as the father of the Matrix. All logic, all equations, but he admits the Oracle is its mother. She's intuitive, she gets human psychology, she understands emotions. She's not just some helpful guide. She's a co-creator of the entire system, and she has her own agenda. And her agenda? It was to break the architect's cycle once and for all. This is her brilliant, incredibly risky plan right here. First, she introduces a variable that the architect's pure logic just can't handle: love. Then, she secretly messes with Agent Smith's code, basically turning him into a system-wide computer virus. She lets this virus grow so powerful that it threatens not just the humans but the machines themselves. And that's the checkmate move that forces them to the negotiating table. You see, the architect was fine with his endless loop of destroying and resetting everything. It worked for him. But the Oracle, after studying humanity for so long, she wanted something more. Her goal wasn't just another system reboot. She was playing for true, lasting peace, for a real choice for everyone. Part 4. Smith, the unwitting villain. Now we get to the final, absolutely critical piece of the Oracle's grand plan, Agent Smith. So, just forget everything you thought you knew. Agent Smith was never the true bad guy of this story. He was a weapon, a tool, one that was carefully built up and then unleashed by the Oracle to achieve her endgame. Her strategy was just genius. She literally reprogrammed Smith to fuel his hatred, turning him into this unstoppable threat.
This is what made the machines desperate enough to realize they actually needed Neo. Then, and this is the masterstroke, she lets Smith absorb her. This gives him her ability to see the future, but it's a total trap. See, he can see the what, but he can't see the why. He could never ever understand a choice that was driven by love. And this is the exact moment he falls apart. He's spouting the Oracle's own words back at Neo, and then he does something he's never done before. He calls him Neo, the name she always used. And right there, you can see Smith's confidence just shatter. He finally realizes he's been a pawn in a much, much bigger game.
Part 5. A new kind of peace. Okay, with all the pieces now in place, we can see how the Oracle's endgame brings the whole trilogy to its epic conclusion.
But before we get to that finale, let's just quickly tackle that common complaint, that the battle for Zion went on for way too long. If you actually look at the numbers, at 38 minutes, it's basically the same length as the climax of Return of the Jedi. The problem was never the runtime. It was that, without understanding the Oracle's plan, we didn't get why that battle actually mattered to Neo's story. The final fight, it wasn't just symbolic. It was programmatic. It was code. When Smith finally absorbs Neo, he's not just taking over a person. He's unknowingly plugging the Prime program directly back into the source. The system detects this massive virus, Smith, has breached its core, and it does what it's designed to do. It hits delete. It purges the anomaly. Smith literally causes his own destruction. And this final exchange just says it all. The architect looks at the Oracle and says, "You played a very dangerous game." He recognizes the insane risk she took, a gamble that could have destroyed literally everything. And her reply is so simple, but so perfect. Change always is. She knew that to truly break the cycle, you had to play a dangerous game. And that's the whole point. The war didn't end with one side wiping out the other. It ended with a truce, a choice, a new piece that was meticulously engineered by a program who, after centuries of just watching us, finally learned to believe in us. Which leaves us with one last really fascinating question to think about. If Neo was the tool, and Smith was the weapon, and the architect was just the warden running the prison, then who was the real hero of the Matrix trilogy?